On October 16, 2002, police removed 14-year-old Yakov from his English class, accusing him of murdering his niece, Yana.
A couple of detectives entered the classroom with the principal and asked me to supposedly go with them to the station so they could ask me a couple of questions.
The investigators force a confession out of the teenager and send him to a colony for 15 years. The years Yakov spent in prison became a real ordeal for him and his parents, who were harassed and pelted with stones by the villagers. And 3 years later, in 2005, the real killer of Yasha's niece is caught. It turns out to be a serial maniac and pedophile, a former law enforcement officer, Sergey Tkach. He operated in Ukraine for 25 years. Hello, I'm Angelina, and we're continuing our project about high-profile crimes and dangerous people. Don't forget that any activity under this video helps us continue our work. Thank you. Sergey Tkach was born in 1952 in the city of Kiselevsk, Kemerovo region. The boy grows up thin and weak, but later starts doing weightlifting. He will later become a candidate for Master of Sports, but an injury during training will stop him from becoming a professional athlete. Next is the army and law enforcement work. Tkach becomes a forensic expert and studies remotely at the Novosibirsk Police School of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. His law enforcement career ends when he forges a forensic medical report out of curiosity, risking prison as a future serial killer. However, district police management decides not to open a case against their employee and instead requests his resignation. After being dismissed from law enforcement, Tkach gets a job at a railway station and starts abusing alcohol, and a year later commits his first murder. This happened in 1980 in Simferopol. His victim was a young girl whom the man first strangled and then raped.
One day, after 2 bottles of wine, I went out for a walk. I saw a young woman coming toward me. At first, I walked past her, but then it was like I was struck by lightning. I caught up with her, grabbed her, and dragged her into the bushes. She was bigger than me and resisted. I had to strangle her. I felt such relief, I can't even put it into words.
An egocentric person, closed off in himself, who basically doesn't care about anyone except himself. Well, you know how they say, don't worry about me. As long as I have myself, I'll be fine. Well, that's kind of like Tkach. He really showed off about his exploits. He bragged that he killed women painlessly. He learned a technique to break neck vertebrae with a single hand movement. And he said the woman died, well, the victim died absolutely painlessly without even noticing it.
After the first murder, Tkach moves to Pavlograd in Dnipropetrovsk and starts targeting schoolgirls. His first victims in this city are 10-year-old Olya Dimitrenko, who was on her way to music school, and Olya Shuvalova, whose mother was delayed at work and couldn't pick her up from school. Both girls were strangled and raped. One of them was found in the basement of her own house, and the other in the ruins of a former oil factory. A music notebook that disappeared from one of the girls' backpacks was later found during a search of the Pavlograd maniac's house.
Since August 1984, we have been living in constant fear for our children. We, the women and mothers of Pavlograd, tearfully ask for your help in our grief. At present, the situation in the city has become so tense that we live in constant fear for the lives of our children and do not know who will be the next victim. Please help us.
Top Soviet detectives arrive in Pavlograd but still fail to catch the killer.
A certain inclination toward the young. This could be a sexual attraction, meaning a certain sexual deviation, a certain degree of pedophilia is present in him. But as for me, I understand that it's more about risk, it's more about interest. So, well, that's how I personally see it, that being aware of it, he gave such preferences not only because of his tastes, but also because of the public's reaction. That is, it's more resonance, it's more risk, it's more of myself.
Tkach, a former forensic expert, ensures he leaves no evidence at the crime scene. He destroys fingerprints, semen and footprints at the crime scenes. Tkach strangles victims from behind by compressing the carotid artery, then rapes them. He keeps victims' underwear, jewelry, makeup bags or hairpins as souvenirs. He leaves the bodies in the forest near a highway or railroad and leaves the crime scene by walking along the railroad ties, which at that time were soaked with a special substance that had a strong smell. That way the dogs couldn't pick up the killer's trail. In Pavlograd, Tkach committed about 30 crimes and then moved to Pologi, a city in the Zaporizhia region with a population of about 20,000 people. Soon, strangled and raped girls and women began to be found in the outskirts of this city. While Tkach remains at large, innocent people are being punished for his crimes. We mentioned at the start how Yakov unjustly served 8 years and 3 months for a pedophile. But he wasn't the only one wrongfully convicted. In addition to him, 13 people are being punished for the crimes of the serial killer. One of them, Vladimir Svetlichny, was accused of murdering and raping Oksana's 9-year-old daughter. Before the trial, the man hanged himself in his cell at the Dnipropetrovsk detention center. After his death, Vladimir's wife, Lyudmila, and their 2 daughters' lives became a nightmare. In Pavlograd, they were outcasts. Valeria Korshunova and Alexandra Chutnik are being judged for crimes committed by Tkach in Pavlograd, as a result of which Alexander spent 10 years in prison and Valery spent 15.
The lion's share of the blame for all this lies with our law enforcement, and not just with the police, but also with the prosecutors and the courts, all of them together. You get it. Detectives caught someone, beat them, and got a written confession. It was common back then. The prosecutors turned a blind eye. So what? We support the detectives uniting, the judges ignoring it. So what? The prosecutors brought me in, blamed each other, then left. As of today, it seems that some of the detectives have been held accountable.
In 2005, Tkach commits another crime. He kills and rapes a little girl near a lake, and later comes to her funeral. There, a local resident notices the criminal, remembering that he had seen Tkach swimming near a group of children, including the murdered girl who had come to the beach.
I knew her father well. We were neighbors. I had to go to the little girl's funeral. That incident was my downfall. When I ambushed her, she was playing with other kids. 2 boys and 2 girls. I should have killed them too. Then I wouldn't have been caught. I think they saw me and told the adults.
In 2005, the criminal was arrested in Pologi. During the search of his house, they found clothes, shoes, jewelry, and other personal belongings that the maniac took with him after killing his victims.
If he hadn't been caught then, he would have been caught anyway. Sooner or later, he was already acting openly, so they came to him for one case. After that, the rest started to come out as well.
Eyewitnesses said that while in the Dnipropetrovsk detention center before the trial, Tkach constantly watched the news and searched newspapers for his last name. The men complained that Chikatilo committed fewer crimes, but everyone talks about him and knows about him.
You don't understand. I'm not a human, I'm a beast, just like Chikatilo. They should make a movie about me. I heard that he was paid $3 million for helping with the movie. And what makes me any worse? There's only one thing I'm afraid of, that I'll be killed in prison. They don't like people like me there, but it's okay. I'll fight as long as I have the strength. I'll take a couple of bastards to the grave with me.
In 2008, the court found Sergey Tkach guilty of 36 murders and sentenced him to life imprisonment. A year later, a new court hearing was held for 10 more cases, as a result of which Tkach was sentenced to life imprisonment for the second time. It is still not definitively established how many lives the maniac took, but according to his own confessions, over 25 years of criminal activity, he took the lives of more than 100 people. Tkach got married while in prison. The Russian woman Elena first saw the serial killer on television when she was 16, and 6 years later she began corresponding with the criminal. During their very first short visit, Tkach proposed to her. They had a daughter named Elizaveta. On November 5, 2018, Sergey Tkach died of heart failure. None of the criminal's relatives or loved ones came for his body. He was buried by the staff of Zhytomyr Colony No. 8, where he was serving a life sentence.
You see, for me personally, what I remember about Tkach is that he didn't evoke a single positive emotion in me. Aside from himself, nothing human ever showed in him anywhere. No regrets, nothing, not a single intelligent thought, only pure enjoyment of himself. I've never met anyone like that. He's one of a kind.
Just like in the stories we've shared on the channel before, we continue to tell you about people and various human behaviors. Don't forget to write about which particularly dangerous person you'd like to hear about next time. See you soon.